Good morning, RLT members. Good morning, everybody out there who might be watching this YouTube stream. Happy Friday. Do me a favor, my RLT members, give me a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen that has the futures and the S&P on it. Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Jay. Marcus. Cool. So looks like we could actually, it's interesting. Woke up this morning and I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a very boring day in the markets. That was my initial thought. I'm thinking this is the Friday before a holiday weekend. It's just going to be dead. It's going to be very, very quiet in the markets. But then we got this pop in the market. I believe it was the jobless claims, maybe. And anyway, clearly the report was positive. At least the market liked it. Things are popping there. And so we are looking at a gap up in the markets, and pretty cool. Rock, good morning. Kyle, good morning. Yasser, Doug. So interesting, because I was, this morning, I started looking at, Jason is saying, yeah, so odd, strong jobs equals more likely to get bigger interest hike rates. Yeah, and the market liked it. So look, you can't put any rationale behind the market, right? So anyway, this morning when I got up and I started doing my pre-market stuff and everything was quiet, this is before the report came out, and I'm sitting here, I'm looking at, looking at the S&P here, and I'm looking at the NASDAQ. And Brian, good morning. The Ripple effect, love it. Looking at those hammers from yesterday, and those are, nice to see those hammers. They happened, if you can probably see here, this 23.6 level here and here. That's the I have my Fibonacci retracements from the highs to the lows, and we had run up to about the 50%, and now we pulled back. So those levels are interesting, that we certainly on the S&P that we bounced like right off of that 23.6 retracement level. A little bit below here on the NASDAQ, still nice hammers off the bottoms. And I'm sitting here looking at those this morning going, wow, if those hammers break, if we go below those, we are in trouble. And then we got the report, things popped a little bit. And again, I was expecting a very quiet day in the market, just because it is the Friday before a holiday weekend. So, but looking at a gap up in the market, so could be interesting. So keep in mind, market wise, it will be a retest gap, right? So we have green candles from yesterday gapping up. Here's the SPY and the Qs here. So green candles gapping up will be a retest gap, which just means that, yes, we will gap up, but then we can anticipate price coming back down, retesting previous levels, and then going back up. Brian Davis, good morning. So let's take a look at, let's see, the report came out. That was just about 8:30, 8:25 when everything popped in the market. So let me go to a different screen share. Bear with me a second. I'm going to move some things around here on my screens. Let's go here. All right. You should currently see two charts of Shopify. Give me a 1 in the chat, please, just to verify that you can see. Perfect. Cool. Thank you. I'm going to put this one on a 5. Here's the daily. Let's start off. We'll take a look at Tesla. We'll go through our 10 EMA tickers that we're following, and then we'll look at maybe some other gaps. All right. So Tesla. Zoom in here a little bit. Okay. So got to adjust a couple of my pre-market lines. This is the pre-market high right here. Let's move this up. Okay, so I've got these orange lines represent pre-market high, pre-market low. I'll just leave that one where it is because we're probably not going to come back down into that area. Though we could. So anyway, nice hammer yesterday on Tesla, right? Got down here, bunch of moving averages down here, poked through it, came back up, finished strong, nice strong close, and nice looking hammer here on the daily. We do have this here. If we can gap above this is just verifying the width of this. This is the monthly 10 EMA. So looks like we poked above that. We'll see if we can gap above that. We zoom in here a little bit on the daily chart. You can see where that 10 EMA is here. And that would be, if we can gap above that and trap any of the sellers from here, could be a nice stronger gap, right? So we need to be, look, it's going to be a nice gap either way, but if we can gap above this level here, high of this candle, 281.25, the current level of this is 280.92. So if we can gap above that monthly EMA, that would be a nice strong gap. Get above there, hold that level, trap all these sellers here. So we'll look for, and we're going to get this gap up here. Either way, we're going to get the gap. The high of yesterday's candle represented right here with this green line. So it's going to be a gap and go. We're going to have a gap and go on a couple of these tickers. So that just means that, I'm sorry, not gap and go, a retest gap. So most of these are going to be retest gaps. But there are a couple of gap and goes that we're going to take a look at. So this will be a retest gap. Again, we'll gap up, expect price to come back down to a certain level, and then head back up. So that's just the nature of the retest gap. Why it's called that is that it's going to come back down and retest certain levels versus the gap and go, which should just run. Where do I think it's going to go today? If we gap up into here, right? If we gap above this level, certainly if you're getting into it, targets that you're going to be wanting to look at taking profit are these moving averages here. So somewhere around the 286, 287 levels, right? Now we can get through there, but obviously those will be levels that you can expect to, again, because it's a retest gap. Those are levels that you would expect price to hit and then retrace back from that. So where could we go? Certainly up into this 288, maybe 288 and a half, somewhere in this level here. We'll just have to wait and see though. I mean, look, that's just a guess right now, right? We got to see where we gap to and if we can hold above this 20 10 EMA. But you can see here pre-market, this is when the market popped, right? So if we look at what has happened so far, we got that pop in the market, right? Got above that monthly 10 EMA, and then we came back down, threw in this hammer, and now we're just battling up against that. So we'll just have to wait and see where we open and if we can hold that level. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Brian Davis saying there's cup and handles everywhere. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting day. Again, I was expecting just a nice, quiet, calm, Friday before the holiday weekend. So Nvidia, okay. Zoom in here on the daily. So bearish candle yesterday, but still a hammer. We are currently not gapping above the high from yesterday. So here's the green lines represent the high and the low from yesterday. So we are gapping up above the close, but the close, I'll just drop a line in here real quick, just so you can get an idea here on the daily chart. So this is more or less the close from yesterday. So we're gapping above the close. But we're not gapping above the high from yesterday. So could get some chop in here on Nvidia, but it is, we're going to have to, if we gap above, we have to get above this level here. We'll watch Nvidia. That's not going to be in play immediately, I don't think. Whereas Tesla will be in play right away, but Nvidia won't be. We'll keep an eye on Nvidia, maybe get some chop. Again, similar look here. We got the pop in the market, came back down, hammerish. Now it's just battling this level here. So not as good of a gap on Nvidia, certainly as a Tesla. But there's a couple here. Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon. Okay, Amazon green candle yesterday. Again, gapping above. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So if we hold this level, we will be gapping above the high from yesterday. So again, another retest gap, right? Green candle gapping up. This line right here, it's jagged right here, and then I smooth it out. That is the weekly 200. Okay, so again, key level here that we can potentially gap above and then hold. So keep in mind that level is 129.02. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that level here. Let me move these down. 131.68. And 132.84 for these. Okay, so gapping above. If we can gap and hold above this, the weekly 200, right? Then you're going to be looking at profit targets, initial profit targets of around 131.70 and then 132.80 in this area here, right? So just be aware of these moving averages. This is the 10 on the daily, and the black line is the 20. You can see those on the 5-minute chart here. Do have, this is this thick blue line here. That is the weekly, it should be a 4. Yeah, that's the weekly 50. Okay, so just so you're aware, we do have very nice strong support down here at like 127. So that's the weekly 50. I'm sorry, that's a monthly 50, weekly 200. Let's adjust a couple of these lines. Again, I put all these lines in place prior to the pop in the market. Okay, so we have our high there. Just make an adjustment on another chart here real quick. Okay. All right, AMD. All right, so AMD, bearish candle yesterday, right? Hammer, bearish, but look at that. I mean, it basically, well, let me see what was this a true doji in terms of the open 82.35, close 82.33, pretty close, right? So just flat, right? At one point, big bearish candle, and then the bull stepped in, pushed it back up, closed pretty much where it opened, right? So zoom in here on the 5-minute chart. Let me adjust this line here. All right, cool. Okay, so all you RLT members there, you should know the answer to this easily. So red candle gapping up. What do we have? What are we going to be looking at today on AMD? What kind of a gap? Yep, gap and go. Correct. Yep. So we got a bullish gap and go. We have a bearish candle yesterday, Moon Lambo. Right. It's a Moon Lambo gap. So look at, also take a look, note this volume, lots of bearish volume, and all that bearish volume is getting trapped. So we have a bearish candle gapping up. It's gapping currently right now. Let's see where price is. 83.10. So yeah, we're just slightly gapping above. This is the high from yesterday. So we're gapping above it. We're not crushing above it. It's not like it's clearing 2 days worth of selling, but definitely will be a nice gap. You do have, just be aware of all these moving averages overhead here. Okay, so this is the 50 here. That's the 50 simple. Okay, on the daily, you have all these are stacked on top of each other. So here's the 50, here's the 10, the 100, and the 20. So obviously there's going to be some overhead. Yeah, lots of resistance, Wesley is saying. A lot of overhead resistance. So if you get into a trade, just know that these are going to be, this 50 here, that's going to be your first profit target, right? So expect it to get up in here and definitely retrace or stall once it gets into this area here. Just watch it. Depends on how strong the market is and how strong it's moving. But nice gap and go on AMD. So AMD will be in play immediately along with Tesla. Let's see. Let me go back to it. Let me just go back to Amazon real quick. There we go. Okay, so Amazon's going to be in play if it opens here. So right away, let me just make a note. We're going to have Tesla, Amazon, AMD likely in play right away. All right, let's take a look at Apple. So Apple is not on our 10 EMA list, but it is one that I like to follow. So zoom in here a little bit. Right. So again, another retest gap. Okay, we have a bullish candle. We're going to be gapping up. We do have some overhead resistance here. This is the daily 200 is just overhead here. That is 160, basically 161. Then you also have above here, you have the 10 EMA and the 20 on the daily. But you do have some, if we gap above this level here, the 158.56, this is the weekly 50. Okay, so we are gapping above that. So nice gap above that moving average. We could maybe, because retest gap, maybe it comes down, it retests this level, potentially just do a limit buy off this, stop down here, and maybe take it up to the 200. Just got to see what the setup is. Howard says, is Tesla retest? Do you think it goes lower? So Tesla is a retest gap, right? So if we just go back here, back to Tesla real quick. Right. So Tesla right here. Yep. So it's a green candle. Hey, Hector, it's a green candle, Howard, gapping up. So it's a retest gap. So yes, the nature of a retest gap is that it should retest. Now, doesn't mean it has to, but that is the nature of a retest gap, that you get a bullish candle day before gapping up. It will likely come back and retest yesterday's levels, and then before going up. Now, Howard, the other thing I was pointing out is that this is the key thing to watch here is where it opens, right? So you can see here volume profile, right? This so far pre-market, all this volume is going off right here. And this is the monthly 10 EMA right here. So we want to gap above that monthly 10 EMA and then hold that level. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that price can't come down through it, right? That would be the retest. Just a lower wick would be the retest. But price comes back down, but you want to see it close and hold above this monthly moving average. Let's take a look at, let's see, we have time. Let's take a look at Roblox. So Roblox, okay. I don't have all my lines drawn just because, and the only reason I don't is because I'm trading with the funded account, and Roblox is not one that is available on the funded account. So, but it's okay. We can just look at it. We do have a bearish candle, right? So someone look to AMD, and we have a bearish candle gapping up. So we've got a gap and go here. High from yesterday, and I'll just drop in a couple lines just so you can get a visual here, right? So here was the high from yesterday. We do have, this is the, just be aware, this is the 50 on the daily, and that's at 41.45, simple moving average. And then you do have the, this is the 10 EMA, the 20 EMA on the daily coming down. So you do have some overhead moving averages there on this gap and go. But again, with the gap and goes, you expect them to happen more quickly, right? Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I got into a gap and go the other day, and it was a dog. So this way, it was actually PayPal. Got into PayPal, gap and go, expecting it to run, and it did nothing. It was actually, but you know, that's been the nature of the market recently. Lucian, hey Stephen, did you? Lucian, I don't do iron condors. I mean, I have, but I don't make it a habit of trading iron condors. Yeah, we can take a look at Google at some point. But no, I have traded them mostly with the with those types of spread. I'm doing either credit spreads or some type of a debit spread. But yes, combining them, sure, but not something that I frequently do. Let's look at Airbnb. All right, Airbnb. Another one that is on our 10 EMA list, but it is not one that is traded on the funded account. So not one that I actively trade just because I can't with the funded account. But we do have a, again, bullish candle from yesterday, gapping up. So retest gap. Just dropping a line here just so you can get some type of visual. So right now we're slightly gapping above it. Well, it just came right back down. So it's sitting right on top of yesterday's high. Okay. But would be a retest gap. You do have the 10 and the 20 on the daily right here. So it's got a gap above these levels, right? To be 114.43 is the 20 and 114.35. So basically right on top of each other. So you would look for to see where this opens. Can it gap above those? And then you do have this is the 100 on the daily coming down here. That's at 118.58. So if you do get into a trade here on Airbnb, just be aware of this level would be a place where you would look to take some profit. Doesn't mean it can't go through there. It can, but because it is a retest gap, again, likely hit that level, retrace. So maybe take some off, 10%, whatever, depends on the setup, and see how far it can run. Give me one quick second. We have a few more minutes. I want to quickly open up my interactive brokers. Pull up my scanner just to see what other gaps we might have. Sorry, I should have done this before, but I didn't know we were going to have enough time to look at any other gaps. Just give me a second. Just logging in. Let's look at Delta while this loads. So Delta, right? So Delta is also on our 10 EMA list. It can be traded in the funded account. Here's the issue I've been running into with Delta is because it's the usually your entry and your exit are within like your entry and your stop are within like 15 cents, something like that. It's just the way, the nature of how it trades. The problem with the funded account is, so I have the $200,000 funded account. The minimum amount between the entry and the stop for that, 25 cents. So because it's a maximum lot size that you can trade is 20 lots on that. So I've discovered that it's got to be a 25-cent stop. And sometimes it's just, when I look at that, it's like, I have to adjust. So my entry is going to be my entry, but then my stop is so far away. I then need it to make a very large move in order to hit it. So I've hit my target. So I've kind of backed off from trading Delta in the funded account just because it's the rest of you who aren't using the funded account. If you're just using Interactive Brokers or any other brokerage account, you can use a 10-15 cent stop and it's not a problem. But I learned the hard way with the funded account that you have to have a minimum. There is a maximum, I should say, a maximum lot size. So you are restricted to how far away your stop can be, because like if it's a 20-cent stop, it would exceed the allowable lot size. Yeah, no leverage on the funded account. Chris McCoy is saying. Chris McCoy. All right, let's look at slide this over real quick. Here's my pre-market scanner. So nothing gapping down, right? Everything is going to be gapping up. You got tons of gaps. Let's see. I'm going to pull this over here real quick. I did not get a chance to take a look at this earlier, but just scanning it real quick. There's the market open. All right, I thought we were going to have some time to look at it. All right, let me switch this screen over to our over here. All right, so here's the tickers I have up that we're going to be watching here. I'm going to have to sign off here from Tony's saying, yep, that happened to him as well, the $100,000 account. Yeah, I found it actually did fill. So with that funded account, and it was Delta that I was trading, it actually did fill me on my order. And then I walked away. And when I came back later, I was like, oh, great trade. It already hit my target. And I go into the funded account and it had canceled on me, even though it initially filled as I had been away from the computer. I came back and it actually canceled the account, canceled the trade on me because it exceeded the lot size. So, all right. Anyway, gonna have to say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Appreciate you being with us. Feel free to come on over to reallifetrading.com, join the community. It is a wonderful, amazing group of people that we trade with every single day together. Happy to have you join us. Have a great holiday weekend.